What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Supercharge with Dr. V. This week, we're talking about the basics of exercise. Now, no matter what kind of exercise that you're into, there are some basic principles that are important for everyone to follow. So today, let's talk about something you may have heard of before. If you don't use it, you lose it. And what do I mean by it? I mean muscle tone and range of motion. Let me explain. First, muscle tone. If you don't use your muscles, you'll lose them. No, they're not going to disappear. But you know how when you stop working out for a while and then when you get back into it again, you can't do as much as you used to. You have to start at about half the weight. That's what I'm talking about. It's the same reason when you sprain your ankle and you can't use that leg for a while, that leg becomes really weak and you need physical therapy to get it back to the strength you originally had. Now, you may not have sprained your ankle, but we need to maintain a basic level of physical fitness so that when we're 50, 60, or 70 years old, we won't be crippled or we won't need as many assistive devices just to get around. If we don't use our muscles constantly throughout our lives, they will become weak in the future, and that weakness can lead to a lot of pain, misalignment, and other diseases developing. And we can maintain this basic level of fitness by using our muscles. Now, you don't need to lift extremely heavy weights or even run a marathon to use your muscles. Doing basic cardio or using your body weight to do at-home exercises, especially during quarantine, can help maintain your muscle tone. So no matter what kind of exercise you do, remember the goal is 150 minutes a week, which is about 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week. Secondly, I want to talk about range of motion. Now, most of us have full range of motion in all of the joints in our body. But throughout our lives, if we don't put our joints through the full range of motion that they are capable of, then we can lose some of that range. If you don't use it, you lose it. Let's take our backs, for example. In my last video, we talked about how we don't extend our backs as much as we should. This not only leads to weak back muscles, but the inability for our spine to actually do the extension motion. And that's why you see a lot of old people who are hunched over. Some of these people can't stand or sit straight even if they wanted to. Now, of course, these can be caused by other medical diseases that are not under our control. But let's focus on what we can control to prevent as many diseases as we can in the future. So what can we do to maintain this range of motion? Well, exercise and playing sports can certainly do it. But yoga can also take all of the joints in our body and put them through their full ranges of motion by stretching the muscles that are connected to those joints. Yoga helps with motions that we don't do on a regular basis, such as extending our heads and looking all the way up, or turning our heads completely 180 degrees, or lifting our arms all the way up in the air, opening up our chest, or flexing our spine all the way so we touch our toes, or maybe even sitting cross-legged on the ground or extending our legs backwards. Think of the joints of our bodies as parts of a car. If they aren't oiled and lubricated as they should be, then rust will eventually gather on them and the car won't run as well. And so doing yoga is like oiling and lubricating our joints and keeping our car up to date. Now, when you think of exercise, you may not always think of stretching and range of motion exercises. And that's because your purpose of exercising may be different, which is totally okay. You may want to lose weight, you may want to trim body fat, or just tone your muscles, or maybe even bulk up and gain some weight. And that's great. Keep working on that goal. But as a physician who constantly sees chronic illnesses, I urge you to add one more purpose to why you exercise: to live disease-free. Even if you're one of those people who says, I don't want to live long, well, I'm sure you want to live a high-quality life the days you do live. And by constantly using those muscles and joints that you've been given, you can prevent so many chronic diseases from happening. So be healthy and make sure that you use it before you lose it. And stay tuned for the next episode when we talk about the importance of moving.